just have a look at the skills that are required to prepare for digital transformation. So this is the next part of the session. And one of the things that becomes quite clear is that the technologies are one thing, but it's the mindset, it's the change in business attitudes that will really be supportive of a transition, of a digital transformation. So I'm just going to go through this quickly and then drill down to some of the top skills that are required. And I think one of the top ones here is having a collaborative and team mindset rather than a somewhat siloed mindset that we're used to. We're really used to working in divisions where we have, finance and operations and sales and marketing, and they all work kind of independently, whereas collaboration is going to be key in the future. The second thing is really focusing on continuously upskilling. So have that growth mindset at a personal level and at an organizational level. So continuous learning, a learning culture is really important to make sure that the flexibility and agility is embedded within the organization. The other thing is to be, technically savvy for the people with these attitudes to harness the technology that's available and have this real digitally dexterous mindset. In other words, have that adaptive capability that will take on board that new technology and immediately turn it into a business competitive advantage. So it's the combination of people and technology that will allow your organizations to win. The next point there is in terms of big data. We are surrounded by enormous volumes of data about customer behavior, about what's happening out in the marketplace. Every interaction is captured, and analyzing that data and having a way to translate that data into more meaningful business decisions, better products and solutions to customers is absolutely critical. And finally, the things are not going to be as straightforward. There will no longer be standardized vertical processes to manage the business by. We're going to have to be much more flexible, and we're going to encounter problems that we haven't seen before because of that enormous flexibility that we now have. So developing a problem-solving and critical thinking mindset is a really important attribute to support the transition to digital transformation. So let me drill down a little bit further into the sort of 10 key skills that we see here. And I'm going to come back to the one that I've mentioned already and that I'm going to keep suggesting here, is it is agility that will win. The ability to create something new and tune it, modify it, update it, or even replace it if it no longer serves the purpose. It isn't a matter of creating a new strategy, a new business model, and then sticking with that for the next 10 years. It's really looking at that business model, critically every single month and saying, is this still serving the purpose that we intended it to? So, it is, completely agile in nature. If you think about the agility just from a programming point of view, you'll find that most software now is built with an agile framework. And what that means is no longer do you get a piece of software that is released and then 1 year later you would get an update. That doesn't happen anymore. If you think about your mobile phone and the apps that you have on your mobile phone, you'll see that the apps are updated sometimes daily. there are always new versions of apps because the app vendors are using an agile approach for developing their applications. They're seeing a customer need, they're updating their code, they're launching it to you, and you may see 4 or 5 different app updates every single day you open up your phone. And this is because those vendors have taken on this agile approach, and they are evolving as rapidly as their customers' needs are evolving. And that's what we need to do in our own organizations. The other thing is that, design thinking is a real critical skill that has to be embedded within the organization. And what that means is really understanding what it is that customers are looking for, being very, very customer-centric in the design-centric approach that they have. So making sure that in everything that is designed to provide a new customer service, a customer product, a customer interaction, that it is designed around the customer need. The next thing here is new media. It is no longer possible to operate a business by advertising in the newspaper or on television, because nobody watches television, nobody reads newspapers anymore to the extent that they look at the internet for the latest information. And not only will they look at the internet, but they will look at the social media. They will look at Facebook and Chatter and Jabber and all of the social media tools for advice and guidance as to what products they should buy, what services they should take, who they should do business with. And so organizations need to understand how to harness the power of that new media. No longer will they take out ads in newspapers. It's been long the case that Google ads have been the ones that have been most beneficial to businesses. But it's not just a matter of advertising, but it's using those social platforms, those referral platforms, those review platforms to make sure that they are on top of any social feedback. If there is any situation where a product has a problem and that problem becomes visible on the internet, it can be very harmful to an organization. So being able to be involved in the discussion on the internet and turn that around to a positive customer experience by resolving that issue very quickly is absolutely crucial. So having that new media literacy is pivotal. The next skills that are required is really around what I was talking before about the collaboration. And I'm going to put these 3 up together because really they work together to provide a much more effective way to operate as an organization. Because no longer do you operate in a silo approach. I mentioned this previously. No longer is it finance focuses on finance, sales focuses on sales, manufacturing focuses on manufacturing, marketing on marketing. The fact is that it is a team of people that comprise a marketing professional, a sales professional, a manufacturing, a support professional, working together to take products and solutions to market. Because unless they are connected together, it means that design will design something, they'll hand it to manufacturing, manufacturing will say we finished it and they'll hand it to marketing, marketing will start marketing it and hand it to sales with a price list, and that is a very, very long process. In an agile approach, you do everything in parallel. You work in teams, and not only do you work in teams, but obviously there are cross-functional teams. They're across all the various functions, and often those teams are remote. The manufacturing facility may be in another country, let alone another part of your country, and so you've got to be able to communicate and collaborate virtually as well as locally. So all of these skill sets around, connectivity, communication, collaboration, and teamwork really work together to provide that agility that the customer expects from your organization. The next thing, of course, is the analytical, data-driven mindset, leveraging all of that big data to make data-driven, customer-focused decisions. The big data that you draw upon from all of your customer interactions will tell you what your customers prefer, what they don't like, what they are looking to have next. You need to harness that information. You need to aggregate that information, and you need to, use your own thoughts, and through that construct, build new products and solutions. One of the things that at Skillsoft, our company develops e-learning, and we sell training content to 65% of the Fortune 500 companies in the world. And because of that, we have a vast number of interactions. We have millions of people accessing our content every single day. And so we know what people like, what they use, how they use our content, how they access our content. Is it through mobile? Is it through desktop? What are their preferred study methods? Are they using books? Are they using courses? Are they using videos? And we feed all of that big data back to our development cycle so that we develop the right content with the right modalities to suit the needs, tomorrow's needs. And we combine that with one-on-one feedback from all of our customers to make sure that what we are delivering is not just relevant for today, but it is relevant for tomorrow. The next one is obviously the customer-centric orientation. I think that's come up in pretty much all of these, but everything has to be around the customer. It has to be solving the pain points that customers suffer, and making sure that we are addressing those pain points in a way that provides the best possible customer experience. So a customer-centric orientation is a critical skill for digital transformation. And finally, and this again goes to agility, but that passion for continuous learning. What you know today may not be good enough for the skills that you need for tomorrow. So continuously learning, not just saying, okay, I understand marketing, I've done my marketing degree. That isn't enough anymore. Because when you did your marketing degree, maybe social media wasn't around. So you've actually got to learn a new area of marketing because you've got to harness social media. You've got to know how to deal with email, with chatter groups, with Twitter, and how to interact with people on Twitter. These are all new technologies that mean that you have to stay up to date. So developing that continuous learning passion within individuals, or even a continuous learning culture in your organization, is absolutely one of the top